There was an 18th century journalist and a philosopher, and thank God you are a journalist, who said, "Foolish is the man who does not read newspaper. Even foolish is the man who believes what he reads just because he's in a newspaper." So if you fast forward and bring it to this time, you can call it foolish is the man who does not read what is in the social media. Even more foolish is the man who believes what he reads just because it's in the social media. And let me also correct you. What you said you read isn't what you read. Because if what you read in the social media is what I read in the social media, then you are not reporting what you read correctly. So please, I want you to go back and read what you read about the cost of the bags and the cost of air freighting the bags. So it is not that the bags cost this amount of money, but 700 million was paid. So please go and get your facts correctly. Those facts are within your domain. And I would urge that when you read those things, let them simply be a basis for you to conduct investigation. That's the best that an information in the newspapers and social media should do for you. That is why we hurt this country when we carry what we read in the newspaper around as if that is the gospel truth. At the very best, it should put you in an investigation. When you read it, what did you do? Did you come here to ask us? You are a journalist. You are supposed you have that responsibility to direct the people of the country. So, and I don't expect that you should have waited until now. That story had gone out. There was a memo, internal memo that was sent out. What did that memo say? And what did the story say? You should have come to find out what happened. And I would urge you in the discharge of your responsibility to simply please put more effort. We shouldn't be lazy at doing our job to help this country. Otherwise, we will destroy this country by simply allowing false information to flourish. And all these details of the purchase of the bags, the air freighting of the bags, are facts that you can verify. You don't even, if you had made an effort, you can verify that. Ethiopian Airline air freighted the bags. And let me tell you, we are a very prudent administration. What we did was to help our members. Are you not happy? And have you told the story that for the first time in a long time, there was no problem with the distribution of bags for the conference? Do we not deserve for you to tell the story that bags arrived on time? The quality that we never had in the history of the Nigerian Bar Association. Is it not your responsibility to tell the story? There was no fight for bags. People came and took bags before the conference. People collected their bags. So you are not happy that there was no fight about bags, and that is why you are not reporting it? Please, these are news. These are positive news about the legal profession that you should tell the public. We are very responsible. And I have said it, and I don't mind repeating it. I didn't come to the Nigerian Bar Association to make money. If I quit the planet Earth today, God is not indebted to me. If you know where I'm coming from, the fact that I even went to school is enough for me to thank God for eternity. Not only did I go to school, I became a lawyer, a senior advocate, the president of the largest bar on the continent of Africa that is privileged to superintend the gathering, the largest single gathering of professionals across the world. What else do I need? That is why I am committed to the frugality that I have talked about concerning the finances of the Nigerian Bar Association. Help us tell the story, my brother. That is something you owe us. Tell the story. Let people know that this administration brought together for the first time in the history of the Nigerian Bar Association the largest gathering, over 16,000. It has never happened. Anywhere in the world, you can't find anywhere in the world there has, even the International Bar Association conferences, never had there been the gathering of the International Bar Conference of 16,000. We did it successfully without an incident. Is it not good enough story for you to tell? Is it not? We invited the president and came. The president came to open the conference. Are you not happy for the Nigerian Bar Association? That we could bring the conference, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to come and open that conference. That is a story, that is a kudos to us. And that brings me to that question that you said, well, lawyers have gone to the television, and you like those kind of stories. Because you people, and I must say this, you don't like to read. Law books are written in English, plain English. You are the masters of English. Go and read the provisions of the law. We have lawyers who went on television to say that we invited someone who is heading an unconstitutional and illegal government. I'm not sure that person is a lawyer. If you are a lawyer, the provisions of the law are very clear. We had elections, and it's a constitutional provision. This country is not run on the basis of the native law and custom of anybody. It is based on the provisions of the Constitution and the relevant extant laws promulgated by the National Assembly. We are seated here only because the law permits us to sit. Every single thing that is done, the conduct of the election, is it in accordance with somebody's custom? No. We have the Constitution. We have the Electoral Act. It prescribed everything. And then we have the Evidence Act, which says that if a declaration is made by a public officer, that declaration is presumed to be right. And that everything that needed to be done for that thing to happen had been done. There is nowhere you will find in any law that says because an election is being challenged, then the person's election that is being challenged is an illegal government. It's unconstitutional. That is wrong. That is absolutely an abdication of our responsibility to give direction to the people of the country. We are misleading the people. And let me tell you, we are very influential by reason of the position we hold, because the people of this country are expecting us to guide them on the provisions of the law. They don't know it. That is why a professor of medicine, if he has any issue with a contract, he looks for a lawyer. He may be 1 year old at the bar, because it is the lawyer that knows where to look at, where the breach happened, and how to provide the remedy. That is why we must be measured in the way we speak. We can't afford to speak anyhow because of that responsibility. I told the story of how in my village, they are all not literate. They haven't gone to school, many of them. And a woman, because she had me being called barrister, she gave birth to a child and named him Barrister. In 2019, February, because I go home to cast my vote at my polling unit at the ward so I can participate in the election of my councillor to the president. I don't waste my votes. Of course, I don't belong to any political party, but I make sure that I exercise my franchise. I went home and I had them call someone that she should bring sand. that they should bring son to me, that see, son has come, his father has come, they should bring, they gave birth to another boy and named him son. And this is true. If you go to my village now, there is a child called Barrister, another child called son. This is simply to demonstrate the kind of influence that we have. So anything I tell my people in the village, they will believe me, no, notwithstanding what the Supreme Court will say. Because I am their Supreme Court. I am their law. So, but the Constitution that we must observe, and it is not a question of choice, says that the decision of the court is final, is binding on everyone, the parties in the suit, and every other person. But we lawyers will go and say, no, that what that judge did was wrong. And we will begin to review it. How? Where is that provision made? So please, I went to the president because today there is only one president and commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you are a petitioner in an election petition, the law calls you a petitioner, not president. And that is the law. If there is anybody who questions this position of the law, let me know. So that is why we went to him, and we are very cultured people. If the law says this is what it is, we'll follow it. I didn't go there because one custom somewhere said when somebody entered that house. No, he went into that villa that we went to visit because the law permitted him to go there. So please, let us properly educate the people of this country. We are the very few that are privileged to go to school. We are their eyes, we are their ears, we are the ones that will guide them. So please, let us be measured. We have this responsibility to keep this country together. Let us not use this privilege that God has given to us to destroy this country. Every aspiration that we would ever have can only be expressed if we have a country. Statements like that can incite the public against institutions. Statements like that can lead to chaos and anarchy. May we not see anarchy in our country. Because if that happens, we won't be sitting here. We won't be sitting here. If we have chaos as a result of the things that we say, nobody will see you running from one trouble and think that, oh, you are the one who is supporting a particular interest. No. Let us be measured. Let us be careful. With respect to the constitutional amendments, our constitutional amendment was well-intentioned. But you know, we are not the ones who rejected it. The members of the bar rejected it. It's a constitution that binds all of us. It's a constitution that prescribes what we should do and what we should not do. So those who rejected it are the proper people you should ask. But one thing I can tell you, amongst other constitutional proposals that we made, number one, we remit 10% to branches on the basis of what the members pay as bar practicing fee. That is what is provided in the present constitution. We have made a commitment, which started from my predecessor, of increasing it to 20%. You don't need an angel to tell you that 20% of what you pay from your branch is better than 10%. So that was also part of the proposal in that proposed constitutional amendment. Is it not well-intentioned? I don't need anybody to tell me that we here have a good heart to say we will give you 20%. And because it is a provision in the Constitution, no matter how nice we want to be, and all of us are good people, we can't do it because the Constitution says 10. We have to change it. Those that would get 20% said no, they want to maintain 10%. So please go and ask them why they would rather do 10% than the 20. Another provision that is there, our lawyers have been very desirous and they need support. Young lawyers with their phone, if you give them 1 million, 2 million naira, they can on the go be making money across the globe by reason of technological know-how. So we've been talking about access to finance for our lawyers, so that when we put the package together, we have a fund that we described in the Constitution, the proposed Constitution, as stabilization fund. We decided to put it in the Constitution to ring-fence that fund, so that nobody comes tomorrow and will do or does something different. What was the purpose of that proposal? Is to say, okay, for instance, now we have a deposit of 1.5 billion. The idea was to move that money into that stabilization fund created by the Constitution. And we would also boost that stabilization fund to such that with collaboration with banks, it becomes like the guarantee for members of the Nigerian Bar Association to go and get 1 million, 2 million, without having to give any collateral. They will go do their business. We will be able to negotiate if we have that fund. And the banks too want to be sure that there is a protection for them. There is also a cover for their exposure. So we needed to put that in the Constitution so that they know nobody can touch it. And then we can go and say, well, we've done this, and please give us this credit finance for lawyers at a single-digit interest. Of course, we negotiate subject to the regulations by CBN because we are familiar with the laws. So we get the best of deal for our colleagues. And there is protection for both our colleagues. Nobody will change it for you. For the banks, there is comfort. That is what we proposed. Do you need an angel to tell you that that was good? No, I'm asking you, is it a good proposal? It is a good proposal. So our colleagues rejected it. So you should ask them why they rejected it. Maybe they didn't read it. If anybody read it, would they have acted? You were there. And how many times did I ask them? No, please help me. How many times did I ask them? 3 times. I asked, you want us to jettison this proposal? They said yes. I asked again, do you want us to jettison this constitutional amendment? They said yes. And for the last time I said, so it is our agreement that we should jettison this constitutional amendment. They said yes. And I said, so shall it be. It is your decision. So how can I be the one to answer that question as to why they rejected it? But at least I've given you a little insight as to how our minds were working. But you know, maybe they chose to listen to our colleagues, you know, who may have spoken to them against it. But I thought for them to be able to take an informed decision, they needed to have read it. But maybe they still read it and didn't understand that 20% is better than 10%. Or that ring-fencing a stabilization fund that will enable them access fund is also good for them. So please, I'm sure if you conduct a public poll, amongst our colleagues, you'll be able to find an answer. But I think that this present ESCO meant well when it submitted that proposal, and but it didn't go through. So we would continue with our 10%, and I can guarantee you that, me, I don't pay more than what the Constitution says. And we will give them 10% next year by the special grace of God. We won't do anything outside the Constitution that they have given us to work with. So I think and we don't have any allegations of financial impropriety amongst us, none. No, I mean, it's wrong to say there is no financial impropriety. If there is anything, is that the two no one give money. That is the. If there is any allegation, is that we don't like spending money. Not that we spend it anyhow. No, there is no such allegation. So, distinguished colleagues, our friends, we thank you so very much for being with us. Please feel free. Be part of the medical outreach yourselves. If you have any relation that requires medical attention, that is why I have my stethoscope here. I can help you if you can trust me to check your blood pressure. But I will not even attempt because I don't have the expertise. But it's just to say that one of the most rewarding moments for me is when I go down there and I see our colleagues, I see people who can't afford it come to get free medical care. It's not all the cases that we are able to handle here, but what we intend to do, the cases that we can't handle. Yesterday, a woman came, very pathetic situation, with 3 of her children. One has a spinal cord situation and is blind. With the other 2 young boys that have glaucoma. The husband has JAPAD. We can't handle a spinal cord situation. But by the special grace of God, we will leverage on this platform to raise funds for the surgery that girl requires. To raise funds and help. And don't forget, if we can do so, if this becomes the mindset of the members of the legal profession, it is very unlikely that anybody would give you work to do and you will not do it well, or you go and cut corners. So part of what we have committed to is, as it were, get all of us to be born again, turn a new leaf so that we can serve Nigerians better. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let me do my usual handshakes.